I love the notion at Claire's home, at First Lethbridge, the way, as only Bruce Martin and the rest of you can do, and your moderator, they're both kindred spirits in this, the detail that comes out of a simple question. It's overwhelming. The idea of how your church engages and makes a difference in your community. Not only that, but partnering in other churches and the notion that you exchange readers and things like that, which is tangible and concrete to the rest of the community, and how you seek to mentor, both within the denomination and elsewhere. Stuff overseas, internationally, and a variety of other things like that. There's an image that I think Lethbridge brings, and I talked about this when I was at Lethbridge. They have actually, unknown to them it turned out, designed their church the way churches have been designed for literally hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years. The glass at the back of the church is dark, and it moves towards less tinted glass until it's clear. It's the whole biblical image. We start from the darkness and work towards the light. The whole image. So as you enter the church, you sense that whole cycle of being far away. Those who were far away have come close. And so the image of this whole report and what you brought to us, and thank you very much for CFAM as well, to talk more about that, and to connect with that, and to go to hear Don Medjed. Mandy Hecht is starting the Heartland at the beginning of January. We have 2 people joining us in the Okanagan later on. So the fullness of that, the thoroughness of that, and the fact that you've established in the community various relationships is very encouraging and helpful, and something that teaches us and mentors us. I liked the way you also did your presentation. Robert McNamara said he never answered the question that he was asked. He always answered the question he wished he was asked. And so you guys did that very well. I just don't think I did notice. I was quite impressed. I want to say that in whether it's Cranbrook and your whole growth and the whole notion of by the way, it's a long haul. You guys came a long haul. You're not going to draw attention to that, Ryan. We've always wanted you to join the BC area, so that's your problem if you're there. Do Dr.
The church is closer.
Don't tell me your prayer problems, man. I'm not here to hear them. I'm here to help you solve them, but I'm not here to hear them. There's taking something, an event, drawing all the churches together, Fort Steele, offering something for free. Churches are always accused of asking for something, and picking 3 things that no one's going to bicker about. I mean, Harold Ballard, for crying out loud, one of the nastiest people who'd walked on 2 feet in Toronto, gave a third of his estate to the Salvation Army, so that's about as neutral as you can get. Salvation Army, Habitat for Humanity, and the hospital chaplaincy. That's just brilliant, and it's not contrived. It just is, and it's an extension of other people's values, so you've met them where their values are. And that's really, really important. The number of years of the work with women and kids have been around, and the notions of that. And I just think that the notion of using denominations, and not a parachute but a partnership, are all very, very helpful things. I want to say about noise in service. There's just one thing you need to say about that. Remember in 1970 we came as a family. We moved from Edmonton to First Baptist Vancouver, and there was a man called Mr. Eastwood, and he complained about the noise of the children. And he was told by the only person on staff at that point, he said, the alternative and the silence is worse. Now that's a bit of a hard ball. Drop kicking Jesus to the goalposts of life, but I suggest you take that individual for a walk or something else and maybe outline that particular philosophy. When you talk about 15% of your people under the 8 years old, that's the closest I've heard of anyone in our denomination to being like a church in the third world in terms of kids, early. So those are huge challenges. The prophetic, the bobblehead I will never recover from. And I looked at Sam, which was a big mistake at that particular point when you said that, but that's okay. I'll do that later. He and I are having supper later tonight.